This story starts like any other, but be warned, it's not for the faint of heart, because the contents are not what you would consider normal. So you see, it all started the day I tried to find an apartment to rent. I was moving from my hometown in the city, and I was looking to find something outside of my hometown, something fresh. I had decided on Texas. It had just what I was looking for, and it had beautiful sunsets that rose over an equally appealing landscape. And I was fresh out of a job, so I had to find somewhere cheap. So first thing, I looked on Craigslist. You can generally find anything on Craigslist, so I figured I could probably find an apartment. I typed into the search bar, low-rent apartments. The ones that came up were not what I was looking for, either out of my price range or too small or dilapidated, despite being cheap. I searched late into the night and was about to turn off my computer, but then I accidentally clicked on one of the photos, and it loaded the apartment and all the details. That's when I saw it. I had stumbled right into it, and I don't know why. Looking back, I shouldn't have, but I did. The title said, "Private room for rent, $800. There was a picture of the apartment, and it looked like it housed enough space for a single young adult male to live in. And the price was only $800 a month. For that price, I could live there and not even have to work for like half a year. Okay, maybe I was exaggerating, but it was exactly what I was looking for, and it was close to the place that I was eyeing for a new job. Well, being close to nature. The only thing was the profile photo for the man. It was unsettling. It showed an old film photo of him inside a cave. It was hard to make out his features due to the age of the photo, but I could make out that his eyes were shining a bright red due to the old analog camera, and he had long hair that spilled out from under his raggedy, camouflage-colored beanie. He seemed to be smiling, though he was faced toward a cave wall. The lighting and angle was enough to give me a heart attack, though it probably would have been perhaps a normal enough photo at any other time. But seeing it so late at night, mixed with the adrenaline from finally finding a suitable apartment, made me jump, and heart beat faster. Still, though, something about the photo was just off. Even after I turned off the computer, it left me feeling disconnected from reality and disturbed, like it was just a hallucination. The next morning, I ate breakfast and didn't even remember the whole ordeal until it hit me like a rock slide. While I was wondering if I was gonna find an apartment, it nearly knocked the milk and cereal right out of my mouth. I remembered the strange encounter the night before. I frantically finished my cereal and rushed back to the computer. I opened up a tab and quickly searched Craigslist for the listing. However, I couldn't find it. I was kind of depressed about it. Then I remembered that the night before I had saved the listing in my bookmarks. I breathed out a sigh of relief and found the listing again, though I found that the profile picture was removed from the listing. I found it to be an eerie coincidence, but I thought nothing of it. I wrote down the address and decided to set out. Little did I know that was a big mistake. The drive through Texas was relaxing, and I even got to see a sunset and some bison. I took tons of pictures. So far, I was loving it. However, that didn't last long. I ended up pulling into an old, dilapidated gas station. It was late, and I was about out of gas, running on the fumes, so to speak. It was late, and nobody seemed to be working there. Luckily, it was an outside pay pump. As the gas filled my tank, I pulled up the profile once more, this time on my smartphone. I found it odd that he hadn't put up a phone number or anything on it other than his address. And as of the other day, no profile picture. Though I was glad that I had at least one way to contact him. To admit it, I was starting to doubt that it was real, and was wondering if it was actually just an elaborate scam. However, I decided to muscle on. I was enjoying the road trip, and decided to make the best of it, even if it turned into a bust. Just as I was pulling away, a man walked out of the station. He was burly and was every bit a stereotypical cowboy. He said hello and introduced himself as Victor. We had a casual chat about the weather, nature, even my car. Eventually, the conversation led to me asking directions to my to-be landlord's address. Though I wasn't lost, I didn't exactly know where I was going. That was when the mood changed. Victor's expression shifted. His smiling face went gruff and serious, and he asked me, "Why do you want to go all the way out there?" I replied, confused by his question. He answered me, and to my surprise said, "This here is out of town. It's not an address per se, but a cave that locals like exploring. It's filled with quartz veins and goes on for miles. Some people go in and never come out." I stared at him for what felt like minutes. But then he started laughing. "You should have seen your face, boy. There's nothing dangerous about that cave. I'd reckon it's safer in there than out. That is, at least when the wolves and mountain lions come out. In all seriousness, anyone can get turned around in the endless dark of a cave. You just need basic cave etiquette, or something like that." With that, he patted me on the shoulder and showed me the way. I was feeling much better now that I had made a friend and one such stranger like him, and I felt a small adventurous urge coming on. It begged me to find out what was in that cave, and why the address was to a cave and not a house. That was the wrong thing to do. When I finally got to the cave, after driving for what seemed like hours, on a twisted, cramped road, I found it. It was the cave that the supposed address was to. I had packed a large torch flashlight and had extra batteries, and my expensive camera for the pictures that I always loved looking back through, so I was prepared for anything. Or so I thought. I wasn't prepared for what I was about to see, and I don't think I ever could have been. I strapped on my backpack with my camera, a few granola bars, and water bottles, and grabbed my flashlight. Then I started into the cave. At first, it was a pretty open cavern. The ceiling was filled with sparkling white quartz that almost blinded me when I shone my flashlight right into it, as well as a few boulders that I thought were sandstone, and even what I could have sworn was granite or limestone. Though I'm no rock expert, I can still appreciate them. I continued my journey into the cave only to find that there was nowhere to get inside further. I was left stunned. I didn't think that Victor had lied, and I wasn't about to give up and consider this whole thing a wild goose chase. And that's when I saw it. there was some sort of gate. It had metal bars going from ceiling to ground, making it impossible to get into except for a small opening, just big enough for a person to fit through. I thought that it was probably like a government-issued gate to make it harder for vandalism to the cave system, and was glad that it was put in place. However, I couldn't quite figure out how to get in without a key, if it indeed needed a key. I checked the sign briefly to see if I could get any details that might have helped me. The sign read something like this: "This area is only accessible to parties or given permission by state authorities." I thought, great, I guess I was right. However, what I read next made my skin crawl. "Beware. Enter at your own risk. Reports of dangerous encounters have been made. Due to said reports, entry of off-limit area is strongly cautioned." My thoughts began to race. What kind of reports? Dangerous animals? Cave-ins? I had no idea. However, my curiosity got the better of me. After snapping a shot of the gate, I decided to try opening it just once before going into a town I had seen in the distance from the gas station and getting a motel room. To my surprise, the rusty hinges lifted, and I realized I really could just slip through. I considered for a moment not going, after what I had just read, but deciding that finding out what this crazy cave thing was wouldn't kill me. So I squeezed through. After I got through, I ate a granola bar and drank some water. Then I set off. This part of the cave offered only darkness, and I couldn't see anything without my flashlight. Then again, I could barely see anything with my flashlight. Though what I did see was astounding. The cave had quartz stalactites hanging down off the ceiling, some being at least 10 feet long. It was certainly inspiring, to say the least. However, while I was looking up, I wasn't watching where I was going. Because of that, I tripped. I heard a sickening smashing noise, and to my horror, realized that I had just landed on a stalagmite and destroyed my camera. I quickly unzipped my backpack to find its contents destroyed. While I was angrily rummaging through my backpack, trying to remove my memory card and check to see if it was damaged beyond repair as well, I heard it. A strange growling, or groaning even. At first I was spooked, but quickly realized that it was probably some sort of underground river, or even some sort of gap to the surface that wind was howling through. I gathered back up my backpack and looked around to find the source of the noise. I was just about done with my nightly adventure. I was ticked about my camera, and was tired of this little game that this landlord was playing. I made to go back to the car, but before I did, I decided to do one more thing. I called out into the dark black inkiness of the cave.
"Hey, landlord! I was coming to see you. I wanted to rent that private room from you."
I listened as it echoed faintly, and began to walk back. I muttered to myself about the whole thing being a waste of time, although I was glad that I got to see such a beautiful cave. That made me stop. I began to wonder if that was what this whole thing was designed for. Some sort of tourist trap or something. That was supposed to let you see something that most people don't get to see. A beautiful cave, untouched by humans. I began to feel exuberant despite everything, and had a blissful feeling wash over me. Despite the terrible parts of it all, I even began to laugh a little. But then, that all changed, because at that moment, I saw him. The man from the photograph. He was huddled in the corner of the damn cave, rocking back and forth, and muttering to himself. His clothes were shredded, and his voice was a ragged whisper, repeating a plea to find a way out. Feeling a surge of pity despite the eerie surroundings, I reached out to tap his shoulder, offering to help him find the exit. The moment my hand touched him, he froze. He turned his head slowly, and the sight was paralyzing. His eyes reflected the dim light with an unnatural reddish glow, and his face was twisted into a wide, jagged grin. The whispers changed instantly.
"You're the one who is lost now,"
he hissed.
"You're never leaving."
I scrambled backwards, adrenaline surging as I turned to bolt toward the entrance. I could hear him behind me, the sound of his movement erratic and fast, like something that didn't belong underground. I reached the iron gate, but it wouldn't budge. Panic set in as I realized it had been latched from the other side. As he closed the distance, I swung my heavy flashlight with everything I had. It struck something solid, and the light flickered out, plunging us into total darkness. In the silence that followed, his voice rang out, no longer a whisper, but a cold, demanding tone. He spoke about the cost of my intrusion, claiming that the debt would be settled before the night was over. I pressed my back against the cold bars, my heart hammering against my ribs. I waited, breathless, until the sound of his breathing faded back into the depths of the tunnels. Taking a final desperate chance, I threw my weight against the gate. To my relief, the latch gave way with a piercing screech of metal. I felt a cold hand brush against my jacket, fingers gripping the fabric of my backpack. Without looking back, I shrugged out of the straps, leaving the bag behind as I squeezed through the opening. I ran until my lungs burned, not stopping until I reached the car and sped away from that property forever. My heart didn't stop pounding until I was almost at the gas station. I had made up my mind not to even give the town a second chance after my near-death experience with... Oh God, I don't even know what to call him. My landlord? After that, I pulled into the gas station one last time. Victor had waved me down. He asked why I was so pale. He said I looked like I had seen a ghost. I tried to tell him what I saw, to report it to the police department, the fire department, the state guard, anyone who would listen. But after I had got done with my story, he stood there for about a minute, processing what I had said. He only replied once, and it made my heart sink. The words he said were these: "Son, there ain't no gate in that cave. That part of the cave collapsed years ago." After that night, I haven't exactly been able to sleep. I've had claustrophobia ever since. It's so bad that I can't even enter my closet. And I've never, ever even thought of going into a cave or cavern or anything else even remotely similar. I've had to say no to a few of my friends' invitations as well. I always have a gun on me. The worst part, the thing that scared me the most, had made me go mad with anxiety. Even though it's been months now, I still can't get it out of my head. A few days after I got home, I got a letter in the mail. It had no return address on it. When I opened it, I knew it was him. The contents of the letter was very simple. It only said,
"Your rent is overdue."